This tutorial is about permissions. We'll see, among other things, how to restrict individual pages and content exclusively for members. To do this, we first go to the login page. Log in, go to your settings, and open the user's navigation link. There, we see the existing users. Click Edit to explore the user's settings. Scroll down until you see the Roles field. This user has the role of Administrator. There are other roles to choose from, namely Member, Author, and Editor. The member can only register and manage his own account. The author can edit and write articles but not publish them. The editor can not only edit and publish his own articles, but he can also edit and publish all content. The admin is allowed to do everything. He can also view and change system settings. The roles build upon each other. That is, the author can do everything the member can and more. The editor can do everything the author can and even more, and the admin has no restrictions. Incidentally, these roles aren't fixed. So a developer can change the rights of the role via a plugin, or they can add new roles altogether. But we're not going to do that now. What we want to do is create a new user. To do this, we click on the button to create a new user. I assign the role of author to the new user. Then I enter an email and a password. Then I save the whole thing, and the new user has been created. I'm going to sign in again, this time as the new user, and go to the article documentation area. Notice how the author can see this article but can't click on the content, nor can they edit the article. There aren't any tabs visible either. In the next step, we'll assign the author rights to this author. To do this, I have to log out again and log back in as the admin. I'm going to go to the article and open the Meta tab. Here's where I see the field for owner. At the moment, the user Trendshow is assigned as the owner. I'm going to change this field to the author and save my changes. Let me log out and log in again as the author. I'll go back to the article, and this time we can see that it's now editable by the author. However, the buttons for publishing the article are missing below. With Typemill, only the editor is allowed to publish content. So far, this tutorial has been about creating and editing articles in the Typemill editor. The next part is about authorizing access to the content on the front end. I'm going to log out again. Now let's go to the article on the front end of the site. As before, there's a note that this article is exclusive only to members, and I'm not allowed access to the rest of the content. Logging back in as the author, I open the article again. Now, the restricted notice is gone since I'm logged in and have the necessary authorization to view this article. How can I set this authorization? In order to understand this, let me log in as the admin and show you. Then I'll open the article and go to the Meta tab. At the bottom, these fields allow me to designate the minimum role one must have to be able to view this article. At the moment, you have to be at least a member. I could also change this to the role of author, editor, or administrator, and thus limit access to the article on the front end only to them. In the field on the right, however, I could limit this article to one or more users. To do this, I'll enter a username and then another, separated by a comma. I can enter any number of users, and they'll be the only ones granted access to the article on the website. These two fields for restricting access to articles are initially not visible. I have to activate them in the settings first. To do this, let's go to the settings and scroll down to the access control area. Here we see different options. Right now, I've activated the page restrictions. This means that the access rights for individual pages can be fine-tuned. In addition, I've activated the option to cut content off after the first HR element. Let's take a quick look at the content area. Go to the documentation article. See that dividing line there? This is the HR element. It means that all content below this line isn't visible. Instead, the restriction notice appears. I can enter the text for this message in this field. The field accepts Markdown, which means I can format the text as I like. In addition, I can click the checkbox below to specify that the note should appear in a note box, which is designed differently depending on the theme. So far, we've left out one point, and that is the website restriction. If I activate this setting, the entire website gets blocked for any users who are not logged in. Only authenticated users can see the content. That's it for user rights. With a little imagination, you can come up with many scenarios to use these settings. For example, a small education company that uses Typemill to provide training materials for seminars. The various seminars can be organized as individual chapters, and the contents of each can only be opened by participants. For this, one would create a user with the role of member for each seminar topic and hand over the access to the participants of the seminar. This could also be useful for operating instructions for different products. You wouldn't need to set different access restrictions, only different authors. Another use case would be for an author who creates textbooks with Typemill and closes off individual articles as premium content for registered users. A public registration feature would of course be useful. Typemill offers this functionality as a plugin that I installed in advance of this tutorial. We can now click on this registration button and a public registration form will appear. I fill out the username, email, and create a new password. Then I click on the register button and am taken to the welcome page. At the same time, an email with a welcome text and a confirmation link gets sent to me. I click the confirmation link and then I can log into the page. Registered users are initially given the role of member. This means that I can only edit and delete my account in the admin dashboard. On the front end, however, I can now view the restricted content. Of course, that depends on how the rights are set. 2 plugins are required for this public registration function. To do this, I log in again as an admin and go to the settings. Under plugins, we see the 2 new plugins, the register plugin and the email plugin. Let's take a look at the settings for the email plugin first. Here, all I included was an email, a name, and the character set. The register plugin comes with a number of settings. Registration works with the double opt-in process. We can edit and translate the registration form here. There's also the option to insert 2 checkboxes, for example, for legal information. There is also a notice text box. Optionally, you can activate Google reCAPTCHA. There are also various options for the confirmation email. For instance, I can set the number of days after which a reminder email should be sent. I can also set the number of days after which the user should be deleted if they have not confirmed their registration. In addition, I can customize the contents of the confirmation email, as well as change the content of the welcome page. These plugins are a bit new, as well as experimental. However, you can download them in Typemill from the plugin store and try them out.